Oh my goodness. Good evening. It is the early evening. It's 5:35 here PM Adelaide time in very windy and overcast South Australia. I'm Ros Boundy bringing you Boomer Press episodes for helping you to find ways to start writing and keep writing. Because with Boomer Press, we're here to help you do that. Get writing in whatever format that you want, pretty much, and in whatever genre or memoir, that type of thing that you would like to write in. I'm using a particular tool at the moment that I'm sharing on the Mondays and Thursdays. So I will actually get over to that because a lot of you may know me already as doing the daily Lenormand card spread readings, and using cards. So this particular tool is the cards, and I'm going to, but not the Lenormand cards. It's not the psychic cards. This is the life story cards that we have here. So I love doing this type of thing where you actually maneuver and create stories from what are just a sentence or two that you start moving from that. And these ones are so perfect because they are a reminder, a memory jogger, a something that we can use as that type of tool. Now I'll bring that closer because it is the life story interview kit. It's not given credit for any particular author with this one. It's just a tool for capturing memories, and it's used for that type of interview style of your parents, your grandparents, friends, that type of memory jogger for those who are wanting to write memoir and that style. That's how that's what it was marketed as when I purchased it. And as you can see, in the end, we'll all become stories. And here is the package deal of what we're doing with the package, the internal part. It's not shining up properly. So we've gone through that much of the packet now. So I'm just putting those to the side, and what we'll do is lay the next categories. It is the early life. The next three questions that we're going to be looking at in the way that I'm doing these. It's just not, my hands are just not coordinating very well, are they? So here we have the midlife there. Definitely had a lovely Christmas, so I think it's just the energy levels moving into a different alignment after, well, enjoying such a lovely time over the day or two previous. There we go. Does that look about right? Looks all right to me. So what I haven't got is the pointer as usual. My iPad isn't in here. So here we go. Now, the one that we're up to, that's presenting right now, and I'm just going to open my Scrivener just to be ready and prepared for that one when it pops up, and seeing what we have there. So if you just bear with me, there we go. Now the previous ones that we had was, did you learn to drive? What did you learn from your first job? And how did you adjust to retirement? So those were Monday's questions. Now we're going to look at these continuing three questions that we have here, and that is from our early life. I'm just going to point at this way. What are your special memories from this time? Now that one probably would be paired with another one as far as whatever is previous or next to continue the story from your early life. I don't know. We've got from yesterday, as I mentioned, that we've got the early life question was around, did you learn to drive? So that's the one that I've just mentioned. And what are your special memories from this time? So for me, one of those would be the way that we learnt to drive. I mean, we had a fairly large farm for the area where we grew up, it was at Meningie in South Australia, and from memory, I think it was about 3,500 acres, whatever that is in hectares, and it definitely was a more sandy, dryland farming area. When we first moved to that farm back in 1967, it was a lot of fencing to redo. There was quite a few pipelines that needed to be redone. I can remember going out to help Dad do all that. And of course, one of the things that you needed to do was know how to drive in that sandy area to help take out some of the equipment that would be on the back of the ute. And then once you're there, you'd have the roll of wire on the back tailgate that would string out, and then you'd have to drive back to the start of the fence and step through or take the next line and the next, if it was a single line fence or if it was the, that was the mesh fencing. So once you had it laid out from one end to the other, you had to pick it up and then do the stapling and the straining of the fence and all of that type of thing. So it was a lot of walking from then because you couldn't really do it as driving along. You did need to walk it so that you had your pack of staples in your pocket and you had the pliers that you did it with. And we were 8, 9, 10 around that age when we were helping doing a lot of this. Look, it was so many good memories though because we got to drive the ute and we were allowed to, to do the feed out for the cows and that at times too. It was a good experience, and the chores, although sometimes were a bit like you say, it's chores, it's still something that you do really remember and overall really enjoyed. I can remember quite enjoying doing those sorts of farm chores. So the special memories really was that was being able to be that little bit independent by driving at such a young age and knowing that it was part of helping with doing the farming work. And it was something that was, yes, a responsibility, but it was something that you felt proud of yourself for being able to do and knowing that you could handle a lot of situations if needed to at that time to help out with the farm work. It didn't feel like we were being taxed with anything too hard. Dad wouldn't give us chores that were over the top difficult. We could reach the foot pedals, we could look over the steering wheel and steer it quite well and knew how to get through sand. We finally eventually did learn that skill. It only took one time of getting bogged where you learnt how not to. And it was just such, it is times like that that you do remember well, isn't it? So that's one of my little experiences of what is my early life in relation to driving, which was the previous question from Monday. So whether it's relevant to that or whether it's just what are your special memories from this time as far as my early life, I've got so many early memories. Even back when we were still at Minlaton and used to play in the farm hay shed, we naughtily would climb into the hay stacks and play chasey in and amongst them. I don't know how sometimes we didn't get caught out being, where you fell between the cracks because sometimes there were big enough cracks that if you got stuck, you could have almost suffocated or got squished. A bit, the crush syndrome type stuff. We survived it and it was fun. Other situations of going to the beach at Port Rickaby was our local beach. It was absolutely lovely space there. It still is. It's changed a heck of a lot now because it's got streets and it's like a township, a mini township, where all it was when we were kids was one row of shacks and there was a main big shed because it was in those days community operated because it was a popular swimming space, so it was for dancers. I think they had dancers in the shed, and a not cafe, but the little cafeteria type of thing that was for the ice creams and cold drinks when it was swimming time, swimming lessons and community time at the beach through the summer months. It was a lovely space, it still is. The jetty's shorter than I remember because there's been several storms that's knocked the tip off each time and it gets a bit shorter. The government doesn't replace them all the time now because they're not needed as much as they used to be with the shipping that was in that Gulf particularly. So very nice memories from there. And then we have our midlife. And that's kind of wandered itself off again there too. Oh, do you have any grandchildren now? If so, what advice would you give them? I think we had a very similar question to this before. It could have been that I've read it previously. Oh my goodness, yes, I've got 5 grandchildren now. And it's lovely to see them, anticipating a fun day on Saturday coming ahead because that's where we're having our bigger Christmas catch up with. They're calling it a cousin catch up. One of my daughters sort of started organising it, so that makes it easier for a bigger family event at one of the beaches in Adelaide. So we're catching up there, and it'd be lovely to see the grandchildren. What advice would I give them? I really would continue to let them know as far as whatever you choose to do in your life, it is that every action has a consequence. So if you choose a particular way to do something, be ready for what the consequences are going to be. And we certainly have had some of those situations where one of the older grandchildren has needed to realise that there has been some actions and choices she made that did bring some consequences and needing to make some hard decisions, although that in itself resolved because she was able to work out a solution for it, which is great. But it is letting them know that that is a most important part of what life is. It's making choices and decisions with that knowledge that there will be consequences in every action. So, yeah, that's the advice that I'd give because I myself have learnt from actions and choices I've made that you've got to, it's that saying, you've made your bed, you've got to lie in it, that type of saying. So, definitely having experienced that, as we all have. So, that's one of those that I would probably go into a little bit more detail, maybe, depending on how I'm going to create the theme for my memoir or not. Just depends. And this is where you'd bring into part of what you're writing is the purpose of why you're writing and how you are going to theme that might be your memoir. If you're going to write that, it could be that you're just going to do a wonderful fiction book and entertain everyone. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? And here we've got something that I know, later life and reflection. I know we've had this question as part of what I've done, as part of what we had as a question raised before, and it was about retirement. And I thought, well, I haven't retired yet, so I haven't celebrated mine. I don't know that I actually want to celebrate retirement because I don't even know if I actually want to retire. I'm loving doing the writing and exploring all the different pathways that you can move through, that you can learn, that you can put down your words in whichever way that you want them to be to create the book, to create ideas for memoir and all of that. I'm just loving the journey of doing this. So for me, I probably, who knows, I probably won't retire. And what is retirement? It could actually pose that question for you as to, oopsie, sorry, clicked the wrong button. I was supposed to do that one. So, it really is having that plan or outline that you want to create as that starting step once you're starting to get these types of questions in frame of where you're wanting to put them. in the context of what type of book, what your goal is, all of that type of thing. Now, I'm going to share my Scrivener screen, and I'm hoping this is going to do it right, because is it doing that right? I've just got to see I haven't got my little preview window open, so that's good, it is doing it. I'm just going to go like this. I didn't have the choice of what size to do all this. So let me just have a quick peek there. You'll see that. Okay. Now, this is where we are with what was Mondays. So all I'm doing now is I can copy, I think what I'm doing in the Scrivener is that you just add another episode. I can go copy this. This is how I have been doing it. And I'd copy this and put it in this next one and do it this way, so that what I'm doing is keeping a track. This is the way I'm doing it. So I'm keeping track of this, ready for the next session, which would be Sundays. And what we've got, what are your special memories from this time? If you can see how I'm changing it up this way. And do you have any grandchildren now? If so, what advice would you give them? And as we move down to this one, I know retirement's part of the last of that one. Did you celebrate your retirement? And what I'll end up doing with this is to continue onwards, filling these out as I'm getting more progressed with this. And I would actually write this one in as the Boomer Press Book Nook episode. Oh, no, I'm not doing it that way. Sorry. I'm following what I've got on the left, as you can see here with the labels there. I want to follow the same format. So it's episode 21 and it's the 26th of the 12th, 24. Okay. So that there is now what I'm doing as a screen share. I'm trying to shift out of my screen share. Phew, that's it. Some of it, the order of how you press the buttons is important. I've got to be able to see it. But anyway, that is how I'm organising my way of doing the writing itself. I'm going to keep all of those episodes there so that I can frame it later on into chapters, just to see how I can flesh out a potential book from that. Now, it may be a memoir, a more formally organised memoir. It could be just that I'm going to create a story from each and every one of those episodes, and by the time that we get through this, through this, that is the life story kit, that by the time that is going to be the book. We'll see, because at the moment I still haven't really worked out how I want to do this. I am doing it a little bit ad hoc and as it comes to my flow. You may want to have it definitely more structured and write down your chapters even now of what you would include in a book and fill it that way. That's something that I'll go into probably once we've done this, or it could be that I'll just contain all of that information within a course, which will be ready by January 15th. That's what I'm anticipating. So you'll get further information around that. I have put in the comments where it will allow it, which is the Ros Boundy YouTube and the 5 Foot Rope TV. As I copy across and share this show into the Boomer Press page, which Facebook wouldn't let me do the live stream into, and the Boomer Press YouTube, there will be the link there to the website as well. And you'll get some notification in those spaces as well when the course is up and running, ready to be well started. It is available for purchase, which I haven't got the link. I didn't get that ready yet, so I have it somewhere. I'll put that in the link in the comments somewhere as well too, because it is that close now, ready to be launched and activated. So I am using a program that I'm learning myself to be able to set that up. It's got the whole um, environment of community, the course, and a chat space, so that it really brings together everything within that space of student interaction and course questioning, and I think it also does do, like the Zoom meetings I'm expecting to do will be within that space as well. That's the part that I need to still finesse and learn. Okay, so it's going to be a bit of an adventure all round. I'm looking forward to that. So I'll leave that now, because I know we've all had busy days. I'm assuming here that we all had busy days yesterday in lovely Christmas Day celebrations, or whatever you enjoy celebrating as far as the public holiday that goes with Christmas, officially a Christmas Day public holiday, and Boxing Day for all the states except South Australia. South Australia officially isn't a Boxing Day celebration. It is Proclamation Day. That was I had a look at it this morning, and I'm not sure whether it was 1906 or whether it was 1916. I can't remember. Declared as the public holiday for South Australians, because it was definitely um, proclaimed as a state separately to the others, of course, and that was what was chosen by the government of the time as the declaration of the public holiday for that, instead of Boxing Day. Not many people know that, so I asked the question this morning again, just to confirm it, of the internet. It was more than likely I did it as a Google search. I don't do much as the ChatGPT searches yet, so you might like to ask that question yourself. Does South Australia have a Boxing Day? And no, we don't. And I'd known that many years ago. So anyway, what is the history of Boxing Day? I know, chatting with some people this morning online, and they thought it was boxing, as in the boxing type thing. I think it was something to do with royalty boxing up what was left over from the Christmas Day festivities that went to the poor. It could be wrong. I could be wrong. You might like to put that in the comments somewhere as well. Could be a story in that. What do you do with your leftovers as well? And what is, overflow of Christmas celebrations, or gifts that are further needed to be regifted, or that type of thing? Because there certainly has been over the years some that we do move along. I'll put it that way. Okay. Now, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll be back again for the Boomer Press Book Nook on Sunday evening. That will be 7:30 p.m. Adelaide time. So wherever you are in the world, do a search for that comparative, so you compare the time zones. And I'll enjoy reading something out loud on on next Sunday. I would like to start doing that type of not recital reading, but reading from a book in a way that is going to be vocalising and voicing what is the story. I'm anticipating having some more fun with that, and I'll be looking up the legalities of that. I got alerted to you can't do that, you're not allowed to without permission and all that. So if you know any of the details around that with the legals, please let me know. I will do a Google search or a ChatGPT search or whatever. In the meantime, thank you for joining me. Certainly, if you've got this far, you can put #replay and you might get a little prize for reaching the end. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on Sunday. Bye for now.